Okay, so now we're going to add an event to the calendar and then show how to add an RSVP and a payment to the option. So here you are in the Troop website, or it can be the Cub website. It's really the same interface. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the left panel and come down to the calendar and click on the calendar. Then find your month and the day. So we're going to go to October, and up at the top you click go. And we know we have already some events here on the calendar. We know that at some point during that month we're going to have a reschedule of Shoot, Swim, and Climb, and I have a feeling that they're not going to do it on the 9th. I imagine they're going to do it here on October 16th. So 16th or the 23rd. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this mock-up of an event here. So what we do is we have a start date for the event and we have an end date for the event. And you want to go ahead and establish your event before you start tinkering with it with RSVP and cost details, because every time that you save it, you have the opportunity to lose the work that you've done. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, so here we assume that the event would start after school. So we say October 16th. Let's just check and make sure that's a Friday. Oh, here we go. Your little pop-up calendar tells you no, the 15th is actually the start date. And so we're going to say 4 o'clock, because people will always ask you, is it the time to be at the venue or the time that you would be leaving if you're in the troop? So we always put the time that we would leave the Lusher site, or whatever site we're leaving from. And then the end date is going to actually be the time that you would get back to the origination point. And so that's going to be on the 17th, and we usually try and get back before we have to feed people again. So we'd say 11:30 a.m. And so make sure your AMs and your PMs are correct. I know it's self-evident, but people will ask if you're going to be leaving at 11:30 p.m. or I guess, yes, in the evening sometimes. So now make sure that your title is short, and you'll see that your past events will pop up here. So you can see a lot of times if I have TBDs, I'm not sure the details, I will put those in. And then once I have confirmed dates and event costs and things like that, I will put confirmed in there so people know that the details are there for them to look at. So I'm going to put TBD here, and down in the select patrol area is letting you know who should be invited or who is welcome to RSVP actually for this event. So we know for this one it's going to be everyone in the troop. The committee members are not necessarily invited. They can RSVP as adult volunteers, so I'll go ahead and put them on here as well. And so I know that this is at V-Bar, but when I come down here, it doesn't necessarily show. But I'm going to say V-Bar, Camp Salmon. Now, I would normally be having another window open with all the details from the campsite or the event site in usually a Word document, so I don't have to toggle around. And I would go in here in the event details, and this is where you put the who, what, where, when, and put all the details in. So I would say get ready to shoot, swim, and climb. This time it should really happen and be a bit cooler. Let's be sure to RSVP yes or no to help plan. So you're going to put your information in, all the details that you have, including the cost for scouts. I know for this one, it's going to be cost for adults, I think it's 30. And, you know, you can repeat the times up there at the top, but that's going to show up when it goes on the calendar and in the e-blast. And then if you have a map or if you have a waiver, you can put that information in. A lot of times you're going to get that information about council events from the council website. And then you're also going to have an RSVP date from your trip leader who says when we shut off the RSVP dates, because we'll register a certain number of spots and we'll pay for them, and then that's it. So we need to make sure that we fill them or we don't fill them, and then we, you know, take the corrective action. So if you want to put a picture in here, we do have some loaded up, and those pictures are, I always forget where they are. There's this little tree up here. So you can click on that, and there's a couple of different spots. They have some preloaded pictures, and you can browse those. And they have some activities in here, BSA logos, or just some fun stuff, but I don't know what we have that's in here. But it's just nice to have some silly things in here at times. And then we have some customer graphics that we have loaded in that are things like, okay, shoot, swim, and climb. That we did the Ferrari event. If we have a flyer, you know, if we're doing training, there's some stuff in here, but we'll just put this in. Okay, so you can see how you can put pictures in there, and we can go over loading up pictures later. If you want to attach a file, I would do that after you've created the event. And to create the event, all you're going to do is you're going to submit it. And then you can go here and see that this event is covering the 3 days. So now I would go and edit it. So this is, so I have the event established, and now I'm going to go and I'm going to add a, the big thing for any council event is you need to go and, pardon my actual work stuff here, you need to go and add forms a lot of times to this. So I'm going to go and get a, you can see the way that I organize things is I have a folder for every event, and I know that I put the, I know I have, here it is, the Scout Health form. So there, I have attached that way down here in the bottom, and you can see I've attached it, but you can only attach one form at a time. You can't do multiples. And so it's very easy right here to click the delete. And if you do that, you delete your entire event. So you just want to attach one, submit that, and that's going to attach the form to your event. Okay, so now when you go down here, you see this. So if you want to add multiple forms, you need to submit it each time, and then you can edit it again. So here, if you wanted to add another one, you would choose another file and attach it. And this is just to save yourself from accidentally deleting your whole event. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here and set it up so that people can RSVP. So to do that, you just come over here to your sign up administration and you click enable, and it says that you can edit your own. Now for council events, we don't allow for guests because it's a BSA insurance thing, but for other events we can allow for guests. And all you do for that is you just click on this, and it presents another slot for people to put in a number of guests and pay for them. So here you can filter by patrol if perhaps we're having just an event for older or younger scouts, and you can do that. And you can also filter so it's not allowing adult leaders or adults, which I don't think we've ever done. You can have a close registration date cutoff. So instead of me putting a reminder date on the calendar, you could say that the registration date cuts off at a certain date. I find that a little more difficult for people to remember, because then they'll just email you and be like, why can't I register? So if you know the cost, you can do this, where you just apply costs and you say the cost per person is X. If it's the same cost, like if we go canoeing and it's just $25 a person, or if we're ziplining and it's just X number for a person. But most of the time, you can come over here and just say it's $40 per scout, $30 per adult, and you don't put anything on a guest for this one. And this, you can click here for the online payment, and then that's going to hook up for the Cubs and the troop to PayPal. So that is really the best way to do it. The checks are really hard to deal with, and it's hard to do the accounting for. So this is a nice way to do it, and you save. So that's going to allow this to hook up, and then you're going to save it again. I don't know why it's not saving. Oh, it's sign up settings has been enabled. So then, as an administrator, you're going to see up here at the top that some people may say that they're having trouble registering, or they can't figure out how to do it, or they need to change something. So this is something that you can do when you have the power to do it, to say, okay, I know that Richard is going to go here. So let me just do that again. So what I did is I went up here and I said, register others for this event. There's a drop down on the left or the right, and you can select each one. So I'm going to go over here to the right, and I'm going to select Richard. Now, I'm going to select his name, and his entire little family unit is going to pop up. So I'm going to say, well, Richard's going to go and Rex is going to go. And I'm going to submit that. And notice that Nancy is already defaulting to no. So I'm going to submit that. It's going to add this to the card. So I'm not going to pay for that now, but if I wanted to, this is the presentation level, that layer that people are going to see. And then when you view your attendee list, you can see them, and you'll see that they're not paid. When people pay through PayPal, Richard or I would go in and check them as paid to record their payments. And so that's something that is a little manual, but we can also put a button out here for events that will have the amounts of payments, and that's here under the online payments. And so you just request that we do that. And so here's the price of the dues. Right now we just have dues, t-shirts, which I need to order, leader registration fees, the Necker, and we have a donation. So if people want to make a donation, you can do that. And this is any of the fees. And you can see it's automatic. It's defaulting to my name here because it knows that I have logged in. So if we're having an event, or summer camp is a big one, or like stuff like that, we can add a button out here. Some people just like to do the online payments, and then we get a notification that it's come in, so we'll go reconcile and mark people as paid. So that is the way that we do it. Then in the calendar, when you go and you see the more of a summary, now notice I just clicked over here to see a detail view. You've got a summary view. This is more of what you see in the eBlast. Now you can see the shoot, swim, and climb, and you've got the attendee list. It'll show 3 attending. 2 attending, because Nancy's not going. So that is how you would add a event, how you would add an attachment, and then how you would do the setting it up for payment information. So I hope you find that helpful, and if you have any questions, just let Richard or Nancy know. Thank you for what you're doing for Scouting, and we appreciate your time.